Welcome, Patrick here. 8 questions with. It's Tuesday. It's the first show of the week. And tonight we will be talking to actor and disc jockey Joseph uh, Damiano. I'm probably killing the name. I probably am. I'm sure I'll hear about that from our guest. I'll say, "Did I kill your name?" And he'll say, "Yep, yep." And then he'll tell me how to pronounce it right, and then away we go. Right? That's one of the risks about doing a show like this. Is like, um, you hope that you get the names right. You don't want to mess up anybody's name, if you can help it. Hey, there's Heroic Waffles, the owner of the best channel name on YouTube, and Waffles is back. He took a small break, but he's back with us. And yeah, Waffles is one of the most accomplished cinephiles that we have in our community. Well, almost. I'm still trying to get him to come aboard the IFC train, but at least he hasn't gone in all in on the 824 train. So that's good. Uh, Waffles is a tremendous collector. His collection is one of the best in the community, and he's actually been on the show. Hey, Michelle, how are you? How, glad to see Michelle's here. We'll be talking with young actor and DJ Joseph in about 10 minutes or so, and I'm pretty excited for this interview. Actually, I'm really excited for both interviews. I got the first two. Well, I'm excited for every interview, of course, but the today and tomorrow mean a little bit more to me because they go back to sort of to my roots, my musical roots, and that is finding a person that's just starting out on their journey. That was a real fun. That was one of the rules I had for myself when I booked music. There were two shows that I was always looking for when I was booking a local band. One was their first, and two was their any record release party they did. You get those shows, you would have a huge crowd because everybody would show up for that. Um, and it was really cool because you got to see somebody just starting out. And for Joseph and tomorrow's guest, Yvette Willett, that's where they're at. They're just now starting their steps forward into the entertainment world of entertainment. Now, Joseph's been doing this for a while with his DJing, of course, but as far as his acting goes, this is going to be a first for him. He's just starting out. So most of these artists are clean. They're clean. I mean, they're just like us. We can actually live through them vicariously just as they're starting out because it's exciting to watch. Hey, Joshua, how are you? Echo, man, Echo, I thought you'd be sleeping. Echo has been on fire this week as far as the live streams go. Crazy busy. Last night, him and Eddie and Nanette were tearing it up. And I think they're doing a new show on Wednesdays, starting at 10 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Pacific time. They're doing a new live series. I don't know what there'll be. I don't sure what they'll be covering or anything else like that. I don't have a title for it. I just know that they're starting on Wednesdays. All right, so let me break out the calendar because everybody knows that's what I do, right? I break out the calendar. So tomorrow, tomorrow we have actress Yvette Willett will be here with us at 8 o'clock. On Thursday the 6th, we have fashion model Pooja Piku will be here. This is our first trip to Dubai, by the way. We have never Echo Slide. That's it, Echo Slide. Um, that's gonna be okay. I like that. Hey Wes, how are you? How are you? Glad you guys can make it. Uh, so we'll be talking to Pooja on Thursday at noon. Noon. That will be the earliest time I've ever done an interview too. Will be noontime. So that'll be a lot of fun. Hey Eddie, how are you, sir? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Um, let's see. Next week on the 11th, we have artist, photographer, and writer Maureen Dowdy will be here with us next Tuesday on the 11th. On the 12th, we have the Bud Files will be here. The Bud Files has a fun YouTube channel, and they go everywhere and explore anywhere. And they'll be with us on the 12th to talk about their journeys and what they go looking for, what they've run across, all that sort of action. And then next a week, October 13th, we have the mighty I Am the Ice Lord. As you know, that he hosts the ninth level on Fridays at 10 o'clock between 9 and 10. And he does either panel shows or he does one-on-one interviews with fellow YouTubers. And speaking of that, I'm hoping that Michelle will start her interview series back up. Makeup Mom and Son had a really good interview series going, and I hope that she comes back and she's able to do that sometime soon because she's a really good interviewer and I really enjoyed her show. As is Wes. Wes is a fine interviewer. I was on his show a couple of weeks ago. We had a lot of fun. So he decided to come on. I invited him to come on over and hang out with me on the 13th, and he graciously agreed, which I'm very glad that he did. And then on the 18th, we have Ken and Ashley Sledge, also known as Sledgehammer Horror. They will be with us on the 18th. That'll be a lot of fun. We have director Michael Lecastri will be in on the 19th. And then we have shock rocker extraordinaire Constant Steel. That's right, Constant Steel on the 20th of October. Rock on. Or I should say like this. Rock. All right. So this is going to be a fun interview with Joseph. We're going to be talking some music. We're going to be talking some movies. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, Michelle's saying that she is going to be doing 31 days of horror and then 20 days of Vlogmas. Not enough time to do them. Oh, gosh, yes. I did not know that you were doing the 31 days of horror, Michelle. Oh, my gosh. It will be a most excellent time. I agree, Wes. Now, yeah, my thing is I got to be careful that Wes doesn't turn around and start interviewing me again because you know how smooth Wes is. That's right. And people probably don't realize this, that Wes is a very good artist. He has been keeping that under wraps, I think. But we're going to be talking about that because he's got some talent, some extraordinary talent, actually. On his Instagram page, he has posted many drawings of things that he has done. It's absolutely awesome. And of course, this is being October. I got to go ahead and let you guys know it's the month of the Spooktacular. That's right. Hobbs Horror Spooktacular is back in the house. So if you go to Hobbs' channel, which he's in the house, so I know he'll drop it for me. But I want you to go over there to Hobbs' channel, and he can drop the link to what the questions are for this year's Spooktacular and what you have to do to get 2 entries. That'll be awesome. If you mention that you heard about the Spooktacular from me, from the Cheetah, if you say, hey, the Cheetah sent me, I heard that there's 3, you get an extra bonus entry if you do that. That's right, extra bonus. So you can get 2 for a video entry, and then if you dance while you're doing it, that's an extra entry. And then if you say, hey, the Cheetah sent me, that's another entry. Because we're trying to get a lot of entries into the Spooktacular. There's Sean. That's right. He's still all right. All right. So don't worry. I'm going to be doing my entry. I know I talked to Casey. I know he's doing his, so I know that's at least 4. I know Sean will do one because he's just that kind of cool. So there we go. We're gonna have an army this year. We're gonna have like 100 entries. That's the goal. Yes, Michelle, you did. And now if you say the Cheetah sent you right here in this chat, you'll probably get 3 entries. Oh my gosh. So congratulations to the Phillies for making the playoffs the first time in 13, 11 years, 12 years. God, has it been that long? Wow, man. You know what? Sometimes the little guys rise up to get, to take a playoff spot once in a while. It happens. There you go. She gets 3 entries, Hobbs. That's right. We're gonna make the wheel of doom. We want to set a record. We know that Miss 80s, she had the best wheel as far as the entries go. Her wheel was so big that we couldn't even read the names on the wheel. It was just like a wheel, and then just like looked like a flat line. It was just like, what's the name? What's the name? You didn't even know whose name was on the wheel until it stopped and announced it. That's how big his wheel. That's how big her wheel was. And then Sean did his wheel for his latest contest, and that was the best wheel I've ever seen. That was an amazing wheel. That drawing was so suspenseful. It was, well, sort of suspenseful. It was suspenseful, but only in a sense it was really fun watching. Like who's going to get eliminated. It was super suspenseful. It wasn't so much for the who was going to win because we already know who was going to win. We knew it. We called it before that. We said the House was going to win, and of course he won because that's the way it should be. It is a spectacular after all. I mean, how could we have a contest in October and not have the king of the spectacular not win? Um, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad you guys are here. I hope you guys will stay and stay and enjoy this interview that I'm going to bring you tonight. It would mean a lot for me if you guys hung around and listen to me and Joseph chop it up a little bit. So put your hands together and welcome our good friend Joseph. I'm gonna wait till he tells me how to say his name. Ta-da! How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, and thanks for everyone that's joining in. Um,
Now, I
I
guess the first question I should ask you, Joseph, is how do I say your last name?
it is Damiano.
Damiano. Okay.
Yes,
All right. So how's your day today, sir?
it's been good.
Yeah, you're very busy, aren't you?
Yeah, I try to stay busy. Yeah.
Uh, hey Casey, how are you? I'm gonna just I'll keep up with us in the chat. Everybody's saying hi to you, so that's awesome. I appreciate that. Uh, so you and I just met not that long ago, but I'm impressed. I have to sit there and say I'm really impressed with your drive, and you are both acting and a disc jockey, and that takes a lot of skill to do that, don't you think?
Yeah, it takes a lot of skill. I was able to learn all the stuff when I was very young, but yeah, it takes a lot of skills to first off be an actor, but then to be a disc jockey and also do a full-time job takes a lot of time out of my schedule.
Yes. Your job is also. Can we talk about your job? Because I think I'd like to, if you don't mind, because I think your job is very. I think it's damn important.
Yeah, I don't mind talking about it. I will say that I do work with people with disabilities. I advocate for those kind of people at meetings and attend meetings at my job. That's every day working with people with disabilities.
Now you do this. You know about helping people yourself because you've actually been in their. You walk in their shoes yourself, which
Yes.
makes your accomplishments so much more impactful for me. I mean, that's it's courageous, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I think so too.
I do. And you also you've also have volunteered in the past.
Yes, I volunteered. I volunteer for multiple organizations, including the American Red Cross. So I also am a donor ambassador for the American Red Cross as well.
I think as your acting career starts winding up, I think all those skills that you've acquired in the past, I think they're going to pay off for you very, very well, in my opinion. Um, I only have one preset question I ever ask any and all my guests, and that is, where were you born and raised at, Joseph?
I was born in Wellsville, New York. It's a little bit away from Buffalo in New York State. And I was raised in my hometown where I'm currently am at in Belfast, New York. I was adopted by two loving individuals. And that's where I've been for most of my life. Although I have found some of my blood relatives as well.
I bet that was a journey all in itself, wasn't it?
It was. It was definitely a journey um, that had some triumphs and some pitfalls associated with it.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Um, it does seem like with the way the social media is, and there's genealogy sites come on there, it does seem to be happening more and more where people are discovering that they have family they never knew of. What family members have you found, and what was your reaction when you found out that you have family members?
Um, I was I was grateful. I will say that I had a negative experience with my biological parents. I did find both of my biological parents. Um, one wanted nothing to do with me, and the other one kind of tried to manipulate me. So now I only stay with the like my aunts and uncles and cousins, the people I can trust from both sides of my family.
Sure, sure. Um, so when did you decide to get into acting, Joseph?
Um, Actually, I have to thank my friend Josh Cole, Nerdy Hillbilly 3112. He got into acting and he told me about stuff, and I was able to go to some projects. So far, I've been in about 4 or 5 different film projects, and I'm hopefully going to be in a film project next year with a good friend. A good friend of mine is doing a um, kind of like a documentary kind of thing, kind of mockumentary. I don't know what you would call it, but it's it's going to be a fun time, and I hope that um, you guys will come out and see the films if they come out near your guys' area. Um, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunities that I have had.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think that's a combination. I mean, do you think this is fair to say that it's a combination of being grateful to have a chance to act, do a project, but it's also, you got that opportunity based on your hard work and your talent. It's a combination, don't you think? I mean,
Yeah,
you got to have one to get the other.
yeah, I agree with that. I think if I didn't even go out in my musical. I was in a musical in high school. I wouldn't have even gotten the acting bug at that point, and that eventually I was able in my later years to start acting.
So you did a musical. Now you're also a DJ. We're going to come back to your acting, but I want to tie this together.
Okay.
You're also a DJ now. And again, I gotta say this, I did a little bit of DJ myself. That is that's a much harder. Well, it's hard for a good DJ. If you're a good DJ, if you're a good DJ, you work your ass off. I mean, if you're just coasting on just putting a record on, yeah, anybody could do it. But to be a good DJ, to keep the party moving. So how did you get into becoming a DJ?
My adoptive father kind of got me into it. I started with equipment, like lights and stuff like that, but then I just went to an application on my computer and did it. That's a mixer or whatever on my computer. I did that for about 7 years, and now I do a virtual dance party for people on Saturdays a lot of the time for people with disabilities, so they can have some place to go on Saturday nights.
Um, you mentioned the disability. Now, you mentioned to me yourself that you have come from a background with that. Now, you have a mild disability yourself. Now, is that what led you to start DJing, to start reaching out to your peers, to your community, and to make music for them to draw them together?
I would say that it had a part in it, yes, but at the time I was exploring hobbies and I was thinking of it as a hobby at the time. Um, didn't even really think, oh, I'm going to be doing it even for money when I did it for so many years. But after a while, I just started liking the skill, and once I did the virtual scene, I was like, I think it's going to be good for people with disabilities not to be just sitting at home bored, not going to be not being able to do anything. And it really all started when COVID hit, because when COVID hit, a lot of people couldn't get out of their houses. So I wanted to offer that as an alternative when COVID hit.
That's cool. I mean, that's very compassionate of you. Um, Now, when you decided to start your first time you started your DJing, how did you acquire your DJ name? Because anybody who's ever DJed, whether it be two two was it two turntables on a microphone, everybody knows that a DJ name is everything. Um, so how did you come up with your name of DJ Jammin' Joe?
I decided that I would take my first name, Joe, and then I thought, okay, what are words that would be kind of cool to run with? And it ended up coming up DJ Jammin'. And because to tell you the honest truth, even when that happened, because that's also my YouTube name that I have, um, it's because I was thinking of myself, okay, is there a lot of people with that same name? And then I also thought to myself, oh, is it going to be cool? So I was like, yeah, DJ Jam and Joe has a nice ring to it. And I'm sure people could easily get with it, and everybody seemed to have that stick with them, DJ Jam and Joe.
That's a cool name. It's a it just sounds you sound like a one man party machine with that name. That's right. DJ Jam and Joe, and what specialty records do you now? I know that I know you carry a lot of different records for a lot of different crowds because no crowd's the same. Um, but what's your specialty? What do you specialize in when you DJ?
I usually play a lot of um, classic rock music, rock pop, um, and then if people have requests, I'll play the requests for them.
Now, you and I talked about this a little bit, so just a little bit. I saved this because I just wanted to. So, to you, Joseph, what's classic rock? What era is classic rock to you?
Um, Basically 60s, 70s, 80s, sometimes the 90s, but I consider mostly the 60s to the 80s classic rock.
See, Joseph. See, did I not tell you? You guys gonna love this guy. See, now I expected when I asked you this question, I really did. I was sitting there going like, if he comes there and says, "Oh, about 2000, 2005," I was just gonna die. I was just gonna say like, I mean, I already know that I'm old, Joseph, but I don't, yeah, classic rock 2000. It's just something really wrong with that for me. Um, I'm with you. Whenever I think of classic rock, I think of the 60s and the 70s. I don't even really even think of the 80s as classic rock, but I guess it is now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I agree with you, Lori. 70s is definitely classic rock, and I guess I gotta say my favorite artist would be Bruce Springsteen, the boss.
Yeah, yeah. Bruce was he benefited greatly from the 80s. Once MTV came on board. I mean, he was already a solid rock star, but the music video that came out just turned him into a megastar. And and so many other great musicians. A lot of great bands came out of that period. But Bruce Springsteen, that's a why Bruce Springsteen?
Um, I will tell you, but hold on 1 minute. I have to plug in my computer.
Sure. All right, everybody in the chat, thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with me and Joseph tonight. DJ Jam and Joe. It's a nice combination. We got an acting and a skilled DJ. I like it. And he volunteers. To help his peers. I mean, yeah, I told you tonight was going to be awesome. I'm glad you guys are staying for this one because this is cool. I really enjoy this type of guest right here. And I know you guys do as well. Thanks, Hops, for dropping channels. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Drop everything. If I remember how Eric Banya said it, I would sit there and say, "Fire everything," from Star Trek, but I don't think I know how to do that voice. Mr. Bones in the house. All right, Mr. Bones got a late night gab fest going on called the Boneyard. So I don't know if it's going to happen this week. I'm sure it will. And if it is, you can tell us what time it is, Bones, that you're going to be doing the Boneyard. That'll be cool. And again, remember, everybody, this is the month of the Spooktacular. So please go over to Hobbs Horror. If you go to Hobbs Horror's channel, he has instructions on how to get your entry into the Spooktacular. If you go over there and do a video and you tell them that the cheetah sent you, you'll get an extra entry, because everybody knows that after Hobbs, I'm the second best promoter of the Spooktacular. All right, Joseph, you back?
And I am back. First off, I'll say, Mr. Bones, thank you so much for putting some of my links in the chat. That was really appreciated. And going back to Bruce. So my dad is a local New Jerseyan. He lived in Linden, New Jersey area, and grew up listening to Bruce like every single day, my adoptive dad. So I got into it because of him. He would introduce me to his music at a very young age, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, when I grew up, now this is a problem. I guess only someone I my age would understand or have. But as far as classic rock, I like all classic rock. But there is one band that I really do have a trouble listening to because I heard it so much growing up. I mean, every time you turn on the radio, you were hearing it. I mean, you just couldn't escape it. And that was Led Zeppelin. Oh my God! I mean, you turn on any rock station, and they were playing "Stairway to Heaven," and it was just like, oh, can you? No, please don't do that. Uh, now, is there a classic rock band that people ask you to play that you just have gotten tired of listening to? Like, can you play some Led Zepp? And you turn around and say, yeah, I would, but unfortunately, my Led Zeppelin records had an unfortunate accident coming to the show, so there won't be any Led Zeppelin tonight.
That naturally happened to me, but people do request a lot of the time. They do request like um, Sweet Home Alabama. They'll request some of those kind of songs. And sometimes I'm there is a song that they request a lot, which I I don't mind playing, but I just don't like playing it a lot. And it's Alabama. I can't remember the song now, but it's a song that, like I said, kind of melody song, and people would ask me to play it every single time, and I'm like, I'll play it, but I don't like playing it constantly.
Lori's mentioning her favorite classic rock band is Pink Floyd. Yeah, I love the Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd it's really cool. I mean, that's a great band. They've done wow. Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. But I think of all the '70s bands, if I had to put my thumb on one band that I probably like more than any other, it would probably be Queen. Uh, Queen would probably be my favorite, and then right behind them, and not too far behind them, would probably be Journey.
Yeah, I would say that my Lori, I would agree with you. Pink Floyd is definitely in the top one. My favorite song by them is "Another Brick in the Wall." That's the song I absolutely love, and can't get enough hearing that song from Pink Floyd.
Now, do people ask you for a lot of? Do people ask you a lot for Leonard Skinner, like a Freebird?
Um, Actually, no. When I started out, people would ask me that, but now that I do it virtually, a lot of people ask me for more up and coming music from the 2000s and onward, and not a lot of classic rock.
It's
They
sort of
play classic rock, but they like to play different kinds of music when they request.
it sort of blows my mind. It's seeing you as a classic. If I was watching you and doing your show, I think it would blow my mind if I saw you reach down there and grab some Nirvana or some Green Day and spun it as classic rock. I think my head would just explode, Joseph. I was just like, no, no. I mean, what defines classic rock to you? I mean, what is it? What is it? What is it? What does it go from classic to modern? Is it like 10 years, 15 years? You think?
Like I consider more modern when it's in the 90s, 2000s. Those are when I consider it more modern than the original classic rock kind of vibe.
That's right, Wes. You and I are safe, buddy. You and I are safe. Our music is safe. Hobbs, you hear that? Our music is safe. We're not those classic rockers. Uh, that's awesome. What kind of equipment do you how did you learn how to use your equipment? Where did you get it? Walk us through it. Do you DJ with turntables, or do you use just computer software and you just program it in?
Mostly my computer software. That's how I've been doing it for most of the time. I did have at the beginning. I had lights that I would monitor and that would follow the scenes of the music when I went to actual events in person. Now since it's virtual, I do it all from computer.
Now, have you ever used a turntable? Have you ever used turntables? That's something you want to think about doing in the future.
I actually have never used turntables. I seen it, but I have never actually used turntables before. I think it would be hard for me to use them. That's why I like the computer software better.
Sure, sure, I get that. I mean, I think it really doesn't really come with the equipment. The equipment is it's really the music you play and when you play it. to get a flow. What kind of music do you start listening to? What kind of music do you kick off? Let's just say all of us here, because we haven't seen you DJ yet, but let's just say all of us are here and we're watching you, and you're starting to spin. What do you lead off with? What kind of music? I mean, what bands do you like to lead off with? Do you like to lead off slow, or do you go for a fast tempo right away?
Depends on the mood I'm in, actually. A lot of times I will search on like YouTube or Apple Music or whatever I get for the songs. I will do like an 80s music, and usually I start off with 80s, and then if people request 60s, 70s, like last week someone requested Beatles, so I did the Beatles and stuff like that. It really all depends on my mood in the time and what people request.
Right. Now you started that. How long? Now you started that DJing back when the pandemic hit, right? So
the virtual portion, yes. But before that, I did in-person events for 7 years.
But yeah, you were going around to different areas and playing and DJing live.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the difference between DJing live and virtual? That's got to be a huge difference.
You can't really get the audience's reaction compared to in person. When you're in person, you can see, yes, on a Zoom screen, you can see what their reaction and them dancing, but there's totally a different vibe when you're live and seeing all the audience reaction and if they really like the music or they really don't like the music.
Everybody's saying Lori's saying she likes 80s music. Hobbs is obsessed with 80s music. Let's see. Wes saying one of his favorite guitar compositions is there anybody out there from Pink Floyd? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, DJing is difficult. It's not easy. It's just not just putting records on. It's all about the mood, like you said. Now sometimes though, does your crowd sort of, let's say you're feeling like you're sort of feeling mellow, but your crowd wants some fast action. Is it hard for you to swing into that, or is it hard for you to get into that kind of mood if you're not really feeling it?
Yeah, sometimes it is. But sometimes people request way too much songs, and I can't do them all in one set. And
right.
Then I feel bad that I'm not getting them all in one set. But if you're requesting a million songs, I can't do it all in one set for only a couple hours.
Yeah, especially that's a problem during live DJing, isn't it? I mean, virtual DJ, you can just sit there and say, I got you covered. But live DJing, that's a little bit more difficult because sometimes the guests get a little bit sassy. Maybe they had one too many cocktails or what have you. And then can you play Freebird? Can you play Freebird again? Hey, I got a request. Can you play Freebird one more time? It's like,
yeah,
it's like, well, no, we're not really doing that. We already played that song, and we'd like to go ahead and get some other songs in there. Let's see. Lori's mentioning she can play a little Pink Floyd on her guitar. All right. That's cool, Lori. Let's see. Diana is here. Our friend Diana from Serenity Studio Art. Hers are U2 and Duran Duran. Love both those bands very much. U2 is one of my wife's very favorite bands. Hey Neil, how are you? Question for my guest. What did you think of the DJ song of? Oh, yeah. Do you? That's a good question, Neil. I'm going to ask this. What's it like? Do you watch other DJs work, Joseph? Do you watch them and see how they spin their records or what music they use and how they use it, or is it yours just purely on solely on your instinct?
A lot of times it's slowly on my instinct. I have seen some local DJs. I I haven't actually watched She-Hulk, and people keep telling me to watch She-Hulk, and I have not done that yet.
I haven't either.
But it's on my list to do at some point.
I haven't watched it myself. Um, so so now that you're because now that you mastered one skill, so when did you how old were you when you first got into acting? I mean, you were already DJing. You're DJing first. So how did that lead into acting? Did someone come up to you and say, "Have you ever thought about acting?" Or was it just something that you wanted to try to explore?
I wanted to try and explore it, and my friend Josh, he was the one that kind of got me into acting. He was in he was acting prior to that, and then I saw what he was doing, and I was like, maybe I'll try it myself and take a stab at it. And I've been doing it now for a couple of movies, and this would probably make my fourth or fifth movie I've been in.
Yeah, it's I mentioned before, I mentioned what I really like about talking to you about this is the fact that and tomorrow we'll be talking to Yvette Willett. It's that you're just starting out on your acting journey, and I think that's really an exciting place to interview somebody is right before, it's like you worked on three movies, so you've been on set for at least three movies.
Yeah,
So, and you're just starting to go. You're starting just to,
yeah,
you're starting to get out there, put your name out there, starting to audition, starting to, film. So it's really exciting time for you.
yeah.
Um,
That's what's on my IMDb, but I've done more than what's on my IMDb. I've done at least one or two more than that.
we got to get those up there. We want people to know that you've been busy. Um, so what was the very first movie what was the first movie you were ever hired on? Did you have to audition for it?
So the first movie I did, um, and hopefully I'm not doing these out of turn, but I believe it was called A Royal Christmas on Ice. I was a background actor for that. That has not been released yet. I would love for you guys to see it. It's going to be on Lifetime or Ion at Christmas time. If any of you guys get those kind of channels, I would love for you guys to see it. I got to work with some celebrities that were from California, and it was that been in Hallmark movies. It was a great time.
Uh, so Christmas movie. When did you film it? Don't you film it like in the summertime?
Yeah, it was. It was actually maybe May June when I went up there. Um, so they had to try to make the set like a Christmas Wonderland kind of thing.
That must have been sort of I mean, that must have been really that must have been sort of surreal to walk on set in the middle of summertime and here it is, it's Christmas time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially seeing somebody, see, seeing somebody maybe in a Santa costume or something else, or um, where it has to be Christmas, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm in a different season now than when I was outside.
Um, but how did you get your role as a background player? I mean, I know you have to go through you have a lot of people think it's just extra work. A lot of people are unaware that extras have to audition as well. They just don't go out there to the first 400 people, grab them, sit there, and say you're in a movie. You have to audition. You have to talk to people um, to even get to that far.
Yeah,
Um,
it depends. Like the movie I'm gonna be in a year from now, I had a connection with the director of it, so I'm gonna be in it because I know that connection. But for the most part, I had to audition for the roles that I was in,
uh,
or I had to apply. Um, there's this company called Casting Buffalo. It's out of Buffalo, New York. And I had to apply to be on the. At the time, it was called Romance on Ice. Now it's called A Royal Christmas on Ice. But I had to apply there, and I guess they liked me because apparently I got a role as a background actor on it.
now, how did you how was it what was it like on the set? I mean, Did you pretty much just have to stand around all day, or did they keep you guys busy or entertained? How did you
A
keep
lot
it?
of the time, I had to be in the waiting area. I had um, sometimes people won't know. People that are not actors don't know. A lot of times when you're on a set, if they don't need you for something, they put you in a waiting area, and sometimes you're there for hours before you even do your take or your shot. Um, so I was literally there for probably 5 or 6 hours before I was doing my take for that scene for him.
Sure. Um, but let's see. Our friend Neil has another question. Um, let's see. Oh, Lindsay Lohan in her new Christmas film. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let me see what Lindsay Lohan was doing. She's not in this movie, I don't think. But let me double check because I don't know.
Yeah, I can answer that too. The monkey. No, I did not work with her yet. Um, I've heard mixed reviews about working with Lindsay Lohan. Not trying to get really controversial on the platform, but um, some people are telling me that it's hard to work with Lindsay Lohan, especially on a film. Um, I worked with John Studdard, is his name, and Anna Marie Dobbins. Um, they were the two main actors from A Royal Christmas on Ice, which is coming out. They've been in some Hallmark movies. I'm sure if you search IMDb and you search those names, you're going to get a lot of results for John and Anna. They've been in a lot of different kind of movies.
Yeah, and you also got to work with William Baldwin, one of the Baldwin brothers.
Yes.
He's not a bad actor, is he?
He's not a bad actor at all. No, no.
No, I think all the Baldwins are very talented. So notice Lindsay Lohan. Uh, uh, but let me ask you this: which five actors would you like to work with, Joseph? I mean, which five actor or actresses would you like to work with if you got a chance to do so?
Um, Probably never will happen, but I'm not knocking on my thing. But I would love to work with Cameron Bure from Full House. She's done a good number of Christmas movies for Hallmark. I'd love to work with her if she does another Christmas movie. Um, and I would like to work with some people in the Marvel industry. I have not worked with anybody in the Marvel industry yet, and I would love to work with some of those actors at some point, even if it's not a Marvel movie.
Um, what type of movies do you like? Candace would be that would be fun to work to share do a scene with her. She's so she's so she's so she's really sweet. Um, I watched her on the Hallmark Channel when she did the Aurora Tea Garden mysteries.
Yes, yes.
That's right. I'm showing my Hallmark roots again, but I don't care because I love that series. I thought her and Alexa Doyd were awesome. So yeah, I think she's really cute. I know that she's doing movies now for GAC. Um, and as far as doing a superhero, a Marvel project, which movie would you like to try to if you had a choice? What movie would you like to or franchise would you like to act in if you got a chance to work with the MCU?
Um, I probably personally would like to see another Avengers, either an Avengers movie or an Ant-Man movie. Um, those are the kind of things I like. I don't know if they'll ever bring back Iron Man after all the stuff that's happened within this universe, but that would be nice to have like more of a backstory to Iron Man as well.
Um, so how do you? I mean, even when you do an extra, you still gotta play a character. I mean, you're just not out there just standing there looking around. You are a character. Like do you? like even though maybe you don't have any lines per se, but do you create a character? Do you say, okay, this is who I'm going to be, and then you go ahead and break the
Yeah,
and create
the director of these movies have told me before, well, you have to be this person in this kind of scene, and I have to take a minute and say, okay, I I'm not actually drinking or am I actually eating in this scene, but I have to pretend like I am. And it I will tell you, acting is tough. It is tough sometimes to get into that mindset. Um, Even if you don't have any lines. Like the
hmm
Christmas on Ice, I didn't have any lines, but going to Slap Straight, I had lines in that movie, which I don't know if that's ever going to come out on streaming platforms, but I did it in Buffalo. I had lines, and I had to act like I was angry at something. And let me just tell you, it's hard to get angry on cue when you're not really angry at something.
how do you go there? How do you get into that? How do you get that?
Um, you just have to take a deep breath and try to listen to the producers and the director. And through multiple takes, you finally get it. But it took like about 6 takes just to get that one scene of that scene. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I got to act like I'm angry, even though I'm technically calm right now. It's it's getting yourself in that kind of mindset um where it kind of goes. You have to think about yourself. Okay, I have to get into this kind of mindset for this specific project.
Let's see. Let me go back to the chat here. That's a that's always a good question. Neil says, what now do they feed extras? Do they have a section for the extras to have a craft table? They didn't make you just stand there for 6 hours without feeding you, did they?
They usually give me a craft table. Um, Now, granted, based on production, they either will feed you well or they'll just give you little tiny snacks and stuff. They will feed you, but due to laws, they're not required to feed you unless it's 6 hours or more.
Okay.
With
Okay.
6 hours or more, then they have to feed you an actual meal.
So you ate on a royal Christmas on Ice. You got fed.
Yes, I got. They ordered pizza for us, and we had pizza.
That's not bad. That's good.
Yeah,
You can never go wrong with pizza.
yeah.
What's your favorite pizza, Joseph?
Um, I would say um regular cheese. Usually, I'm a cheese kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a cheese too. Like cheese. I like the extra cheese, pepperoni, or sausage and mushroom. Now, I'm thinking I'm making this. I got your rider. I got your rider, and it did sit there and say after I'm supposed to interview you, I'm supposed to give you 3 pizzas. But unfortunately, my budget is broke, so I can't do that. So, but thank you for coming anyway, hanging out with us.
Yeah, no.
Uh, let's see. Let me see. Let's see. Neil's got another question for you, I think. Um, uh, I don't think you know what. Honestly, I'm gonna be rather bold here and say this. I don't think he wants to be an extra on any Disney Plus shows. I think he wants to be. I think he wants lines. Isn't that the case for every actor? I mean, even working background, you want to have a line. You want to be able to say something.
Yeah, I don't mind being in background, but I'd rather be in a movie where I have either a line or I can do like improv and do something like improv on a set, not where I'm just going in the background. You see me for a split second and then it goes off the camera cue. So it depends on production, but if I did have to do something on a Disney Plus show, I'd probably well, that actually is very hard. But if I let me just change the scene up. if it was a Disney Channel show, not that's Disney Plus. If it was a Disney Channel show, I'd probably go on Raven's Home on Disney Channel. See, they do like a National Raven spin-off. But yeah, I would love to do that. Also, I would love to be on Dancing with the Stars if they ever reached out to me. I would love to actually learn to dance and be on that show as well.
Do you find people do you find casting directors and everybody else, do you find this treats you strictly as a peer? Do you ever find anybody treating you a little bit soft, or they are feeling sorry for you? And do you sort of resent that if they do it? Do you?
Um, a lot of times I haven't had that issue. I
Good.
I will sometimes tell somebody I have a disability. I'll disclose it at my free will. I'll tell people that, but I don't want. I tell my friend all the time because he goes to these gigs with me a lot. I tell them, I say, I don't want them to treat me any different just because I have a disability.
Good for you.
I don't want them to treat me like they would treat any other actor or actress on set.
Do you? Is it easy for you to memorize scripts?
It is hard for me. I have to read the line multiple times. And when I have a lot of lines or dialogue, it takes me a good couple weeks to get into that before I go to set. But if as long as I highlight it and read it, I'm pretty darn good at it. And I will give props to the directors of Slap Straight, David O. Anderson and Ray Silka. They really helped me to reiterate what my lines were if I missed my line, and the movie that they're doing for Slap Straight, and kept giving me prompts and helping me with that, which I appreciate any actor that goes out of the way for that kind of stuff and helps.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, acting. I think sometimes we get presented to acting. I mean, I guess it's like on the acting level. I mean, going upward, I can see it how it can be this way. But I think we've been sort of conditioned to believe that actors are, it's a cutthroat world. But I've been doing this for a little bit now, and overall, I will sit there and say that I think actors are some of the most, at the least at the level I'm talking to them at, there are some of the nicest people. They really do seem to care about their peers. They're not really out just for themselves. We sort of get that personified to us, like told to us, like actors are all, it's all about themselves. They're all into themselves, and I'm sure obviously that's the case for some, but it seems like the people, like just starting out or who just really love to act for the sake of acting. I mean, that's what they're there for, is to act. They seem to be really nice people, and they seem very helpful. Has that been your experience? Have you ever had anybody been rude to you at all, or has pretty much everybody been really cool and kind to you?
I will say that most people have been kind to me. Actually, I will say that I will say that when I worked on A Royal Christmas on Ice, the actors from California were very, very nice to me. They were nice to all the extras there. Jonathan Southard, who was one of the people there, and Anna Marie Dobbins, because they were coming from California. They on the way out, on the day of set, they high-fived me. They gave me fist bumps and stuff on the way out, saying that I did a good job on the set. And you don't always find the actors and actresses that will acknowledge the extras that are in their productions.
I think that's a mistake myself. I think that's a mistake. I think everybody should acknowledge everybody because it's hard work. Like we mentioned, it's not easy standing around for 6 hours, because you gotta stay focused. You still gotta stay in character. You still gotta, if you're in makeup or you have a costume on, you still gotta wear it for that time. It's not easy. It's not easy.
No.
And so yeah, I think that's really cool that they appreciated your hard work for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Neil's coming back with another good question. He goes, which actor currently in the MCU? I think Neil loves the MCU. It's just a guess. It's just a shot in the dark, but I do think that Neil likes the MCU. But which actor in the MCU would you? Oh, no, I'm not going to ask him that. I'm going to ask him this one instead, Neil. Which actor in the MCU would you like to work with?
I would say that I can't remember their name, but the person that played Iron Man, I'd love to work with.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I would love to work with him. I think he would be an awesome person to work with.
I was really, have you ever just followed an actor who are your favorite? Who's your favorite actor? Who's your favorite actress?
So many actors and actresses that I would credit for being my favorite, but I will go with one of the actors that I really like, and this is sifting away from the MCU a little bit, but I'm a horror fan myself.
You stepped into the right channel for that.
And I would say John Dugan, who plays Grandpa in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is my favorite actor. One of my favorite actors. He does a great job as Grandpa Sawyer, and he's been in a lot of good movies. And favorite actress, trying to think of her name now. Mia Goth.
From X.
From X. I honestly like her in that. And I just went to go see Pearl, the backstory, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend it.
That of course will get me some laughs out of the chat because yeah, I had to throw that in there. Yeah, I want to go see Pearl. I saw X. My good friend Big Daddy J, he hooked me up with a copy of X, and I liked it. I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it. I did like it, but I wasn't in love with it. Now,
yeah, I would say like I like A24, but if I have to go with like another franchise that I really like is the Scream franchise. I like watching the Scream movies as well. I don't know if any of you guys here have watched the Scream movies, but they're pretty funny and
I don't know, you guys. Have we heard anything about? Does anybody here know anything about that Scream series, that franchise? I'm being a little bit facetious because we're all looking forward to the new Scream movie. So let me ask you this question here. Is Stu alive? Is Stu Macher alive, or did he die in the first movie?
That's a hard question because honestly, it doesn't tell you when you have the first one. So there's a possibility for Stu to be alive. If I had to give a guess, and obviously I don't know that the new movie that's coming out, but it would be really good if or one of my predictions was that the main victim in the first movie was actually the killer in the next movie.
See, we got some saying our friend Nanette says she loves the Scream movies. Lori says she's never heard of the Scream movies. But see, let's see. A brother of a certain age, we bring back Stu. Let's see. I said this. I was one of those who didn't believe that Stu made it. But then someone sent me a picture, and they said that as far as cheating death goes, that Stu had the speed of a cheetah, and so Stu's a cheetah, and so now I believe that he did in fact did live because he has the speed of a cheetah. Hey Mayhem, how are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. We are talking to our friend guest Joseph, who also goes by DJ Jammin Joe. Okay, help me out the last name, Joseph.
Damiano.
Damiano. I'm gonna get that. So we are talking about films. So let's talk a little bit about Slap Straight because you mentioned that movie a couple of times, and I'd like to go visit about it. So what is Slap Straight and what's it about?
Okay, I'm gonna try not to divulge too much because I don't want to give the whole synopsis away. But it's about slap fighting. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of slap fighting. It's about slap fighting. I'm a person in there as an extra. A kind of a vending machine kind of situation, but that's all I can really say at this point. I am probably going to do a party when it comes out because I don't know if it's going to go to Prime Video or Hulu, but if it does go to Prime Video or Hulu, I'll make sure Patrick knows about it so he can let all you guys know where to get it.
I do know what slap fighting is. It's that is painful. Slap fighting is painful. I don't know why people do that. I think I'd rather box than get into a slap fight. So this is I take it this is gonna be a straight out of comedy movie, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it's mostly it's kind of comedy, but it's mostly I would and I don't want to jinx myself here, but I would say it's not 100% comedy. It's gonna be like action comedy kind of thing.
So it's like so Slap Straight is sort of like a competition. They're competing for a title.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, okay. Comedy, action comedy. Well, you can't go wrong with that. Now must have been really interesting to watch. Now, what's your role in this movie? Are you a background again, or are you one of the slap fighters?
No, unfortunately, I was not a slap fighter. I'm one of the people. So there's a scene that's gonna be coming up that would come up that as a vending machine. I'm the angry patron at the vending machine. In it, and two slap fighters are coming. They come and they try to help me get my snacks out of the vending machine.
Okay. They probably end up slapping the machine, but that's I'm just a guess. Don't tell me. Uh, Thanks for coming out, Sean. I appreciate it so much, brother. I appreciate it so much. Uh, do you find it hard? I mean, do you want to do comedy? I mean, you mentioned horror. I mean, would you rather do horror or would you like to do comedy if you got a chance? I mean, would you like which genre would you like to try to do?
I would really like to do horror. I actually want to get into the horror genre a little bit too. But either comedy or horror would be my top guess.
Yeah, horror. I mean, a lot of that takes a lot of horror is interesting, isn't it? Have you ever been scared by a movie that you've watched?
Yeah. To this day, I will not watch the Saw franchise because I'm just too freaked out by it.
That's what I love it when people actually come out there and have the courage to actually admit stuff that scares them. There's too many fans that'll sit there. They'll try to be hard and sit there and say nothing scares me. But I think if we're all honest with each other and as horror fans, I think it's okay for us to come out there and sit there and say, you know what, that scared the shit out of me. That's So yeah, I get that. Like the first three Saw movies, they had me on edge. I thought they were very, very effective, uh, for sure. Um, what do you think will happen? How do you think it would happen if you got cast in a horror film and they asked you to die? Would doing a death scene be exciting for you, or would you be a little nervous doing it?
A little bit of both. I'd be excited, but I also would be nervous about doing it. I know that a lot of the horror movies use special effects, and sometimes they use CGI. So if I knew what was going to happen before it actually happened, I could better prepare myself for my role in that movie.
Yeah, I think being a new actor. I mean, do you practice? I mean, do you go to class for your acting, or do you have people in Buffalo that you maybe like a group that you work with? Do you practice or take classes to improve your craft?
At the current time, I do not take any acting classes. I've done all the stuff for my acting naturally. They have offered some classes, but I have not taken any acting classes at the current time.
Would that be something? Is that something you'll probably change? Maybe during winter time, you'll do some classes.
Um, maybe. Not entirely sure, but I might if I get into a lot more movies and I act in whatever, I'm gonna probably try to at least practice, even if it's not in a class, so I can actually do better and stuff. I
Mhm.
I even talked to my friend about maybe getting more titles on IMDb once I actually get into this and stuff. Like even 4 or 5 titles or 3 titles even is it's a lot, trying to get all
Yeah,
that and stuff.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's a really cool to sit there and it's really cool seeing you getting ready to launch. It takes a lot of work to get to where you're at. Plus you work a full-time job actually, and you work as a DJ. So I mean, you have a lot on your plate, that's for sure. Um, but if it came down to one of the two, like if it came down to where you got a chance to do a big project, could you put aside the DJing to do a bigger acting project, or would you just stay, or would you just rather stay where you're at now and just do smaller films?
I I like I would love to do a big film, but if if there was a local film and I knew that it was still going to Hulu or something, I'd probably take that job over a big job. That's because transportation is hard for me and it'd be hard to figure out. A lot of times they don't pay for your airfare and other things like that, so you have to kind of have good financial standing in order to actually go out to like Los Angeles or New York City to do
Right.
films.
Let's see. Lori asked you, what was your first acting job? Was it your first acting job? Was that the musical that you did?
No, actually, that's not really. I wouldn't consider that my acting job because I wasn't really officially an actor at the time.
Okay.
Um, I, I was doing it at my high school, and well, the musical was at my high school, and it was not really anything that was a real acting job. My first acting job, I would say, is a Royal Christmas on Ice that's coming out in Christmas time. That's my first acting job I ever did. Was that the Royal Christmas on Ice? It will be on Lifetime or Ian. And once I know that information, I'll let Patrick know so he can let you know, Lori, if you want to watch it.
Sure. It's almost that time of year. I mean, you would think that it's October and that's all about Halloween, but for Lifetime and GAC and Hallmark, October is and they start them earlier every year. So October they kick off their Christmas movies in October.
Yes. And the producer or director or whatever told me that I wouldn't know what station it was going to be on till Thanksgiving. So I won't know until around Thanksgiving time.
Right. That's good. Well, that's good though. I mean, because I do know that those stations, they will literally. I mean, when you think of programming, a lot of times the station will have their programming just set in place. They'll sit there and say, we're going to watch Royal Christmas on Ice on let's say November 1st, and it'll even be in the TV guide. But some stations will change. They will change. Literally, they'll take that movie off the spot and move it if they think they should. And it's really different because you're never 100% quite sure when a movie that is advertised is actually going to play until you're sitting there watching it. So what's this project you're going to be working on next? Oh, let's see. Hold on, I might not be able to ask you that. Don't answer me. I'm going to go back and see if am I able to do that. I don't think I am. No, I'm not. Okay, so I can't ask you what's going on. I can't ask you what's going on. But I can do this. Now I noticed on your IMDb that you have 3 thank yous. Now, what are those for? Like one's called Clown in the Woods, and you got a special thanks. What does that mean? Does that mean that you helped on set? Do you promote it?
I actually bought that. They do something called an Indiegogo campaign, and you can buy special thanks, which necessarily means that they'll thank you at the end of their credits on their movie. So they'll have your name at the end of the credits on the movie. So on Clowns in the Woods, my name is on the bottom there as someone that they give thanks to for helping to fund the project.
So basically, you act like sort of like a producer.
In a sense, yeah. In a sense, yes. I gave money to help the production out.
Yeah. Me too, Lori. I'm a sucker for Christmas movies. Let's see. We have another question from our friend Nanette. Question for you, Joseph. What would be your dream job? I mean, if you could have a dream job, what would it be?
And this is what I always say to my friends. I honestly would move to California, and I like acting, but I would probably, for my dream job, I would work at Warner Brothers, being a tour guide on the Warner Brothers studio tour in California.
Oh, that's
helping.
That's not a bad dream job.
Stuff, yeah, where the sets are and telling people movie trivia. I think it would be great.
That's not a bad dream job, Joseph. That would be a lot of fun. I think a lot of us would like that. We got another question from our good friend Wes, who also has a talk show. By the way, he does what I do. This show is called The Ninth Level, and do not be surprised, Joseph. Do not be surprised if you hear from Wes wanting you to come onto a show sometime soon. So just letting you know that. And he's a much better interviewer than me. He's got that smooth velvet voice. So let me. He does. I'm not kidding you. He's got that DJ voice. You know what I'm saying. He's got that radio. He's got the radio DJ voice. So he's asking you a question. What song that you use in your mixes gets the audience most excited? Yeah. So what song? What's your audience's favorite song that you play? What gets them jazzed up?
I would say that I Got a Feeling by Black Eyed Peas is what I usually play to get people jazzed up, or Celebration by Kool and the Gang.
Damn, throwing down the classics for sure. You can't go wrong with Kool and the Gang. Yeah, that's a yeah. Either that or Miami Sound Machine. That's also a good one to get jazzed up on. Um, let's see. As far as the classic rock goes, yes, the Ninth Circle. That's right. It's a pretty it's a good show. Um, let's see. Casey saying the Ninth Boglin. Yep, that's right. Um, did you ever have nightmares off of any horror movie that you ever watched? I mean, you didn't watch Saw, but did you ever watch a movie and have nightmares about it?
Um, let's see. Yeah. I would say not really. I did have a nightmare. My friend made me, or I asked my friend if he could play the Saw video game. I saw the opening credits to it, and that got me nightmares when I first saw that. But an actual movie, I wouldn't think so. I can't remember what that movie was where they were isolated on an island, and they were cannibals and whatever. But that one was kind of scary too. Okay, why is this? Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking.
Uh-oh. All right. I know who caused that. That damn Jimmy Hoffa. I'm telling you, if I must have picked on him a little too much last night. This is all your fault, Nanette. Tell Jimmy to bring back my guest. Thank you guys all for coming out and hanging out with tonight. I really do appreciate it. Um, I think Joseph, like I said, I think Joseph's a really cool guest. I really enjoying the show. Hopefully, he can come back. All he has to do is let me tell him just to tell him to come back. Um, let's see. Okay. Yeah. 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 Isn't he? No problem. We'll be here. That's right. Tell him, Wes. Even cooler now. Yes. So he'll be back in a minute. He just has some tech issues. Um, yeah. He's. I'll be back. That's right. That's right. I was gonna ask him too. I was gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him when he comes back in. I'm gonna ask him if he believes in ghosts because I bet you he does. And as you can see that he's in the chat, that means you know that he has a YouTube channel. So we will be putting that down on into the chat as well and in the description box. So you guys know that. So you guys can go over there and sub to his channel. As a matter of fact, if we all subbed, uh, thank you, Wes. I appreciate that. So here's his channel. Here's his channel right there. Neil, tell me the nickname on Instagram. Yeah, tell me tell me that in Instagram for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and bring him back. Ta-da! And he's back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry, I had technological problems on my computer, so I'm on my phone now. Hopefully, it doesn't lose
Don't
the
worry.
quality of the stream.
It's okay. We don't. I only have a couple more questions for you. Then we can wrap it up. But one question now that happened right there. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes, I actually do believe in paranormal things. I do believe in ghosts, spirits and demons and all that different stuff. I actually went to something called Rolling Hills Asylum up here in New York and sat down in an electric chair and I felt someone turn on the electric chair.
Ooh, now that would be
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah, it was very creepy. I do ghost hunts on my YouTube channel. Sometimes I do have some videos that I did that were ghost hunts. If anyone wants to check them out and subscribes to me or checks out that website, um, but yeah, it's a fun time. The one thing they tell you though is never use those apps in anything in your household because you don't want to bring the ghost back with you.
Our friend Annette, the Entertainment Hideout, she has a ghost in her house.
Wow.
Yes, yes, she has a ghost named Jimmy in her house, and definitely it's spooky. Yeah, I sold you out, Nanette. I'm sorry, but I had to tell him about Jimmy. Yeah, actually, a lot of people here are very much into the paranormal. Um, we've had a couple of people on from in the past that have done paranormal investigations, and we got one next week that's also they also do investigations as well. So yeah, I definitely believe in the paranormal as well. Um, so that's interesting. That's interesting. So what's next for you? I know you said you have the one movie in 2023, but in the immediate right now, what's next for you? What's gonna what are you gonna be doing in the next like 2 months, 3 months?
Um, Nothing really in regards to acting. I will be doing my job as a peer support specialist, and volunteering, but I won't. I probably won't be doing any more acting jobs till next year.
Till next year. Sure, I get that for the weather for sure. Um, Listen, I want to thank you for coming out and hanging out with us, Joseph. I had an absolute blast talking to you. I knew it was going to be a fun show. I've been hyping it up because I was so glad that you agreed to do it. Um, I do hope that you'll want to come back. Um, I definitely would like to have you come back. I'm sure that Wes probably will offer you more money than I did. The ninth level's got cash, and that's something I don't have. But of course, I'll be hearing about that later too. But in all seriousness, we wish you the very best. In everything that you do, DJing, volunteering, helping your peers, acting. You're a very multi-talented young man, and we only see the bright things for you, man. We think you have a very bright future.
Yeah. And if that guy wants to reach out with me, knock on wood, he will. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But
Well,
I have my Instagram information on that link tree. You can always reach out to me. Anybody can reach out to me. I would love to have any conversation with any of you on this chat.
sure, sure. We'll definitely will do that. We'll definitely will do that. I want to thanks to the chat. You guys have been absolutely outstanding once again. You guys came up with a ton of great questions. Uh, why did I do that? Because you're famous. She's famous. Who wouldn't want to be famous? Um, uh, uh, I want to thank you guys all for coming out and hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking to actress Yvette Willett. Will be here with us tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we have two shows. We are going to Dubai for the very first time. We're going to the Dubai. Uh, we're going to interview fashion model Pooja Piku. And then we're coming back to interview at 8 o'clock. We'll be interviewing Jonathan Martinez, Man of Movies, and he is one of the members of the Cinema Squad. And we will be talking all things movie on Thursday at 8 o'clock. For everybody else, thank you so much for everything, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Joseph, stay right where you're at. To everybody else, thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.